Mythic Battles Expansion 1, a little bit of an unimaginative name for the first expansion of Mythic Battles. Mythic Battles is a combat game which is by far one of my favorite combat games and just one of my favorite games of 2013, and you will see that this will be placed pretty high in my top 10 games for 2013, which I will film, I believe, before the end of 2014, otherwise then I have to make a video for 2 years together, it will be too long of a video. Mythic Battles, first expansion. It's a fantasy game based in sort of like fantasy ancient Greece with monsters and mythological creatures. It is a game that I enjoyed very much. Let's see what's in the box. A scenario with additional rules, a scenario book, and also with additional rules. More than a matter of additional rules, really it is a matter of new talents. There are real new things here are heroes that are characters that you purchase, and then they grant you a one-time benefit when you play the card. They don't really get in the battlefield to fight. And then there is a new rule about variable maneuver characteristics. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then you have new tiles and new scenarios which can be played as a mini campaign. They can be connected to the main campaign of the main game. Fun stuff. These scenarios I really enjoyed playing. I haven't played them all, but the ones that I have played I really enjoyed, and I found them quite tense and quite exciting, which of course is great. Game 8, at the end, the rulebook, the booklet really gets the job done. Terrain tiles, we have 2 terrain tiles, glorious, beautiful art as we've come to expect from Mythic Battles, and interesting terrain too. Then we have tokens for, well, to mark new things on the board, little webs to mark Arachne's web, that's a range attack that she can perform. Spider-Man, that's what Spider-Man does. She envelops her enemies in webs, and that of course creates all sorts of problems until the enemies manage to disentangle themselves. Counters to indicate the new characters, such as minus. And then also there are replacement counters for the characters in the base game. These replacement counters really are an improvement. At first sight, they don't look very different, but the difference here is that they have 2 sides, and even though they represent the same character, as you can see, the border here is different, which is very important because now player A can use the golden side of the characters, and player B can use the side of the characters with the gray border. This makes it much easier to see at first glance who controls which characters on the board. Not that it was a huge problem before, not that I had even noticed that it was a problem, but now that there is this thing, I'm like, yeah, but it is better. So, replacement counters also for all the characters in the base set. And then we have cards, so we have stele cards. Then, well, if you know the game, you know what these are. Maneuver cards. Maneuver cards are really cool. Each character comes with several maneuver cards. The maneuver cards, the characters that you control, get shuffled together. They form a deck, and then they get into your hand, and you can play those cards. These cards, you can exchange them for resources, or you can use them to activate your character. So characters that activate more often have more cards. And also this way we can see the main characters that come with this set. Arachne, the Spider-Woman, Matriarchs, so like the Gothic Amazon, and Spawn of Arachne, just big, ugly spider. Then we have some demonic monsters, minus the Judge of Hell, pretty intense if you ask me. Damned of Tartarus, really powerful art. Damned of Tartarus variant. And more Damned of Tartarus. And then here we have Tantalus and Tiresias, the cards that, as I was saying, are heroes that are played for to gain a benefit, gain the benefit described at the bottom of the card. And then, of course, we have the cards that represent the characters themselves. And this is one of the things that I like the most about Mythic battles, that the characters are represented by a stack of cards, each indicating a different level, different amount of life points that the character has. The card on top of the stack represents the present amount of life points that the character has. Arachne loses a life point, the card goes at the bottom of the stack, now she has 5 life points. She loses another one, goes to 4, she recovers, back to 5. That's simple, but what really is relevant is not just that this is a way of keeping track of the amount of life points that are left, is that depending on the amount of life points that are left, the other characteristics of the character also change. That is, as the character takes hit and loses life points, also the stats here worsen. For example, as you can see here now, this value here for combat has decreased from 6 to 5. Range combat, that goes down at 2 points, then it goes down to 3. So, this is amazing because you don't have to keep track of a lot of stats and modifiers. You move a card. That's it. You move a card and the theme happens before you. The character visibly worsens or improves without you having to worry about keeping track of things, without any fiddle procedure that you have to take care of, which is great. Now, one of the new rules that I did want to mention is the variable maneuver characteristic. Now, if you look at the maneuver cards, as you can see, some of these cards have a different symbol here. That means that this maneuver card here, the one with the symbol here, cannot be activated by the main character in all situations. Can be activated by the character only when that small icon is also represented here. So as you can see, if she goes down to 2 life points, these stats are worsened, but also the icon disappears. That means that when this maneuver card is in the hand of the player and the character is in this condition, the small light blue icon is not visible anymore, this card cannot be used to activate the character. That means that among other things that worsen is also the number of times that the character can activate in a turn, because when she's a little healthier, all of these 4 cards can be used for activations. When she goes down to 2 life points, then she can only activate 3 times, and this card is way less useful than otherwise. Great new thing. It seems like a small detail, but again, it is something that creates specific situations, adds variety to the action, adds subtleties, and it's something that you do not have to worry about, that you do not have to keep track. You just have to remember, well, oops, that icon is not there anymore, so this card here cannot be used for activations. Spawn of Arachne, pretty self-explanatory, the type of thing that these guys do. They're spiders. What do you expect them to do? They do spidery stuff. The matriarchs, they have the Sentence of Athena skill, which allows them to help other units. They can give actions to other units can activate. They have the Skill Warrior trait. That means that helps them during an attack, can be a close combat, can be a range attack, and immediately after you roll the dice, the player that controls them can reroll one of the results, can reroll a die that shows a 0, which of course is not bad at all, and the spear shot, the arching shot, but these are the skills of these mysterious dark Amazons. Minus the Judge of Hell. His 2 main talents are Infernal Blaze. That is an attack that he can launch against all adjacent characters, he pretty much bursts into flame. That means that all characters that are adjacent to him are attacked by the Inferno Blade, including his friends. So the controller of this player may want to keep him a little far from everybody else, at least from his own allies, and the opponent may want to target him with range attacks as much as possible. And Ardent Wrath, that gives an advantage to the character after the character has eliminated another character. He gets so excited that I don't know, he has this sort of like burst or surge in adrenaline, which allows you to take back a maneuver card from the discard pile. So he gets extra activations. That's how excited he is that he kills somebody. And then we have slightly more generic, demonic, infernal infantry with the Damned of Tartarus and the Damned of Tartarus again. Different stats, different abilities, different stacks, great art, but not anything particularly new in terms of talents. And this is pretty much it. This is the main idea. These are the main elements of Mythic Battles Expansion 1. The game is awesome. The game is absolutely great. This expansion, it's a worthy sequel to the original game. There's a lot of fun to be had with this. It looks like there isn't much stuff in the box. There aren't many new characters, but when you combine them with the old characters and you have the new scenarios, definitely it is enough to keep the experience fresh and to allow you to play the game more and more without having the game to feel, without starting to feel that the game is stale. There definitely is a lot of replay value in the original set already, even more so when you combine the original set with this one. It is also fairly inexpensive for an expansion. Expansions that are much worse than this one. You get a lot of value for your money with Mythic Battles Expansion 1. If you haven't played the original game, I definitely recommend playing it anyways, and after you play it, please consider adding this expansion to it, because if you play the original game, it is likely that you will like it very much, and in that case, you will definitely enjoy the expansion. Number one, you will enjoy the new characters, the new rules, the new scenarios. They add complexity, they add adventure, they add a lot of things to the game, and these new things are all welcome.